Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be playing Slay the Princess, Reverse Override the Princess. This is the full release of a game that I watched a playthrough of a little over a year ago. So, they definitely have most likely added some things to this game since its initial showcase in the demo that they released a while ago. Now with the full release, hopefully it's a decent experience at this point. We're going to play through it, hopefully enjoy it. Don't know if it will be good, don't know if it'll be massively different from the initial demo, but we'll see. For anyone who's watching the VOD, hopefully you enjoy.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess.
Before I go on, this reminds me of like Disney cartoons and the way they made their backgrounds. They would have layered sections to give the impression of depth, and that's how they did animation. You know, you can see there's like a layer of this bush is in front of this one, and obviously this tree foliage over here is in front of here to create the perspective that happens when I'm moving my cursor. It's very interesting, and obviously it works because it gives you a good idea of what's in front of what. And this is actually how Disney created depth in their first animations as well.
You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Okay, explore. The end of the world. What are you talking about? Explore. Have you considered that maybe the only reason she's going to end the world is because she's locked up? Explore. Killing a princess seems kind of bad, doesn't it? Can't someone else do this? Forget it, I'm not doing this. Have you considered that maybe I'm okay with the world ending? Do I get some kind of reward? Oh, okay, thanks for telling me what to do. There's a lot of options, I see. Okay. Sweet, I've always wanted to off a monarch. Viva la revolution. Silently continue to the cabin, turn around and leave. Okay, well, let's go with the basic bitch answer.
I'm talking about the end of everything as we know it. No more birds, no more trees, and perhaps most problematically of all, no more people. You have to put an end to her.
Okay. But how can a princess locked away in a basement end the world? If you don't tell me why she's dangerous, I'm not going to kill her. Do you have any evidence to back this up? Have you considered that maybe the only reason she's going to okay, so some of these are the same. Okay, look, I'll go to the cabin and I'll talk to her, and if she's as bad as you say she is, then maybe I'll slay her, but I'm not committing to anything until I've had the chance to meet her face to face. Okay, I'm sold. Let's get this over with. Okay, thanks for telling me what to do. Alright. This seems like a good answer, but I think I like this one.
While I appreciate the mental exercise, we are running up against a bit of a ticking clock.
Okay.
Nevertheless, let me assure you, the princess is locked up because she's dangerous. She is not dangerous because she's locked up.
Okay.
And before you decide to waste even more of our time by asking how I know that, let me suggest a more pragmatic lens through which to view this situation. Causality doesn't matter here, because the end result is the same no matter what led us up to this point. If the princess leaves the cabin, the world will end, and there is no changing that. It's no use arguing semantics over a metaphorical chicken or egg, because the egg is hatched and it's about to ruin everything. Unless, of course, you do your job and slay her.
Okay. If you don't tell me... Okay, so he's not gonna be happy if I... Do you have any evidence to back this up? Killing a princess... I want to ask another question, but he just said time sensitive, so I'll ask it anyway.
Look, you're already on the path that leads to the cabin. Why would you be here if it weren't to complete a very important task? You've made it this far, you might as well reach the end of your journey.
Okay. Okay, I like this one.
Then I guess we'll just have to see what happens. But a word of warning. If you go in prepared to hear her out, she could easily trap you in her web of lies. And the more you listen to her honeyed words, the harder it'll be to pull yourself out.
Makes sense.
Then each and every one of us is doomed.
Okay.
So sure, go, talk to her. See how that turns out for all of us.
Alright.
You make your way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the princess within.
I want to change the preferences a little bit just to make the... Just lower all of that. Okay.
We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save princesses, not slay them.
Voice of the hero, I see.
Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the floor and walls are painted in a fine layer of dust. The only furniture of note is a plain wooden table. Perched on that table is a pristine blade. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
Okay.
You take the blade from the table. It'd be rather difficult to slay the princess and save the world without it. The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an unseen light in the room below. This is an oppressive place. The air feels heavy and damp, a hint of rot filtering from the ancient wood. If the princess really lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. Her voice carries up the stairs.
Who's there?
Okay.
She sounds dangerous. It's almost as if she's the one in charge down here. Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation.
Hey, I think I'm here to kill you. Just checking in on you. Hi. Well, thought.
Don't
Hi.
be a stranger. It's been so long since I've had any visitors. Come on down.
You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement. She's so coldly beautiful. Is she really a threat to the world?
Hey, Cody. Yeah, the overheads go good.
Focus on the task at hand.
And there you are. Are you here to kill me or something?
Well, initially. What? No what? Okay, yeah, you caught me. Nuh-uh. Haven't decided yet. Oh, that's a pretty good way to say it. I'm just here to talk. That's a good one.
Then why did you bring a knife with you? How about you drop it, and then we can chat?
She makes a compelling point. What if we just dropped the blade and talked? Look at her. It's not like she's a threat.
Well.
Don't you dare.
Okay, well. Might as well.
It's fine. We can decide what we want to do, after we talk to her. Maybe she really is a monster, but killing someone in cold blood isn't very becoming of us.
Okay. Drop it.
The blade tumbles out of your trembling hands and drops to the floor with an unceremonious clang.
Thank you. Maybe now we can just talk.
Okay.
Against your better judgment, you step forward to speak with the princess face to face, unarmed. We'll be fine. I don't know what you're hoping to accomplish here, but I can assure you there's no reasoning with her. Just make sure you don't forget about the blade on the floor. You're going to need it.
So here we are. What an awkward start to a relationship.
Okay. It's pretty awkward. Are you coming on to me? How would I get you out of here? I'm here because you're supposed to end the world. There's people out there who think you're going to end the world. What do you have to say about that? What's your name? How long have you been down here? Do you know why I'm here to kill you? Okay, we've talked enough. Well, could ask, what's your name?
She hesitates before answering.
You can address me as Your Royal Highness, or Her Majesty. Any honorific should do, really.
Note the lack of detail. You can't trust her.
Okay.
Don't just tell her that.
Is that why they threw me down here? But I don't want to hurt anyone. I like the world, I think. I don't remember much about it, to be honest. I've been down here a long time.
Just how long has she been down here?
If I'm supposed to be capable of ending the world, then how did I wind up here, chained to a wall? Have they told you why I'm allegedly so dangerous? Ending the world seems like an awful lot for just one person to do. I wouldn't even know where to start.
I believe her. She doesn't have to know how to destroy the world to be capable of doing it.
At the end of the day, whatever the two of us have going on down here is about trust. Whoever sent you to slay me claimed I was a threat to the world, but they didn't tell you why. That doesn't sound right to me. And I don't think it sounds right to you either. Otherwise, we'd be killing each other instead of talking.
She has a point. There's a reason I've been telling you to question the situation, and there's a reason you've listened.
So, I could tell you that I'd lead a quiet life in the woods, or that I'd open an orphanage, or that I'd do any other number of good things that I'm sure you think you want to hear. But you don't really know me, do you? What can my word possibly be worth in a situation like this?
She's right about one thing. Her word isn't worth anything.
Like I said, it's all about trust. Blind trust. So do you trust me, the prisoner, the victim, the princess clearly incapable of ending the world? Or do you trust whoever put me here?
She's wrong. This isn't about trust. This is about risk. We stand to lose everything, all for the sake of one person, and a subjugating monarch no less.
Too long.
You can't. Don't bother.
I'm guessing you don't have the key then. I'm sure there's a key somewhere around here, and if there isn't... well, we can always put that knife to good use.
Her sharp eyes settle on the edge of the blade. She isn't suggesting what I think she's suggesting, right? She is. I'm sure of it.
Oh? Have you decided what to do with me?
You know why you're here. Doubt, unfortunately, clouds your thoughts as you attempt to run her through. A moment of distraction and hesitation is all she needed to sidestep your thrust and deliver a catastrophic blow to your jaw. It feels like you've been hit with a sledgehammer. You can feel bone grinding on bone where your jaw has been fractured. Holy shit, that hurts! Though she's unarmed, the shock of that first strike is enough to stagger you, putting you and the princess on somewhat equal footing. Your blade slashes through the air again. We can still turn this around. You and the princess stare at each other, both gasping for breath, equally exhausted. You probably won't make it out of here alive, but you can at least make sure that she won't make it out of here either. Excuse me? Do you think this is what I wanted to happen? I have a duty to state the facts of the situation, and honestly, it's a miracle anyone is still standing right now. Can you not feel all those ruptured organs bouncing around in there? If the princess doesn't do our friend in herself, internal bleeding is certain to finish the job. The two of you clash for the final time. You feel your ribs break as she delivers a heavy blow, but you push through the pain, falling forward and sinking your blade deep into the princess's heart.
Oh.
The two of you fall to the floor.
This was fun.
The princess gasps, her voice an unhealthy rasp as her lungs start to fill with blood.
You put up more of a fight than I thought you would. But I have to wonder, do you really think this is the end?
But you don't have time to worry over such things. Everything goes dark, and you die. You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess.
Okay, well, it's a very weird way for the game to proceed, but makes sense to me, kind of. I didn't think the princess would be that much of a gamer and beat the shit out of my character, but you know, it is what it is.
You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Okay. I'm getting a terrible sense of this already happened. Groundhog Day. Alright. This is definitely what I want
I
to say.
can assure you that you didn't slay her, and that she didn't kill you. People don't just spring back to life after dying, and the two of us are meeting for the very first time.
Okay.
If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way. You know I can hear you, right? It's going to be a lot harder than you think to keep secrets from me. That's fine. It doesn't matter if he can hear us. The only thing that matters is marching up to that cabin and winning.
Voice of the stubborn, I see, so.
That's the spirit.
A
There's
new
no point
character?
in squabbling when the real threat is just up that hill.
Okay. Let's assume I'm telling the truth, and all of this really did already happen. Why should I listen to you? Why should I bother doing anything? Proceed to the cabin. Okay, might as well ask.
Those are two very different questions, but fine, I'll indulge you if that's what it takes to get you moving. Let's say for a moment that this really is the second time you've met me, or at least a version of me. You died last time, which probably only happened because you didn't listen to me.
Okay.
We did our best with the information we were given, and we did kill her. And yet you still died, didn't you? So congratulations, you've been given another chance to actually do this right.
Alright.
And I believe your other question was something along the lines of, oh, what's the point of doing anything? If you're asking that, it sounds to me like you're making the rather dangerous assumption that your actions last time around didn't have any consequences.
I guess.
What do you mean? Of course there weren't any consequences. We killed the princess killed us, and now everyone's right back where they started. That sounds pretty consequence-free to me. Yes, but in this purely hypothetical scenario, that begs the question of how you got back here. Did time simply rewind itself, or were you instead transported to a different world entirely? Had you failed to slay the princess, what would have happened to everyone in the place you left? Ugh, enough with the talking. We've got a fight to win. Nothing else matters. I couldn't agree more. The cabin and your destined confrontation with the princess awaits.
Alright then. So be it. We could talk.
Just be quick about it.
I'll try. We killed each other last time around. How can I make sure that doesn't happen again? All she did last time around was beat me to death. How could someone like that in the world? To quote you from the last time around, she's just a princess. Why was she strong enough to beat me to death with her bare hands? Who locked her in that basement? What is this place? Might as well.
People locked her in that basement, and I told you what this place is. It's a path in the woods. Don't overcomplicate things.
Not trying to, but they're pretty complicated. How can I make sure that doesn't happen again?
Like I said, if she killed you, it was probably because you didn't listen to me.
Yeah,
Don't
it's
talk
fair.
to her,
I didn't
don't
listen.
trust her, just go in, do your job, and save the world.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Oh, this is maddening. Why do you keep asking questions? There's nothing wrong with getting the full picture of what's going on here.
Of course. See? Voice of the hero.
Sure there is. It's wasting time and energy that would be better spent fighting.
Makes sense, too. Alright, then. That's all. You're being cagey. Why aren't you telling me? What are you telling? Okay.
Great. Now, if you don't mind, the whole world is waiting with bated breath for you to save it from ruin.
Of course. Proceed to the cabin.
A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her.
Okay.
Don't believe a word she says.
Lying and cheating doesn't sound like her at all. Not that it matters. It's not like she can lie or cheat in the middle of a fight.
Are you sure about
Okay.
that? The point of my warning wasn't to start an argument over what circumstances the princess is capable of lying in.
Let's go.
It was to give
We got
you
this.
some broadly applicable advice. The princess will do and say whatever she thinks it will take to get her out of there. So don't trust her. Ever. Are we clear?
Crystal. Let's just get on with it already.
The cabin is tighter than its exterior would suggest. Its cold stone walls press in on you, as if trying to forcefully direct you towards your destination. The only furniture of note is a black iron altar with a pristine blade perched on its edge.
See? Even the cabin has the right idea. Let's get moving.
The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right. Walk up to the wall next to the basement door. It's a wall. There isn't much to see here. What are you talking about? This isn't a wall. It's a mirror. Or at least it'll be a mirror once we wipe off that layer of grime. You reach forward and rub your hand against the cabin wall. I hope you know how ridiculous you look right now. But there was a mirror a second ago.
And now it's gone, so all of us can stop arguing about it and get to fighting.
You take the blade from the altar. It would be difficult to slay the princess and save the world without a weapon. Very different. Maybe that's because you haven't actually been here. I hope this means you'll finally drop that ridiculous past life nonsense. You haven't died, and you certainly haven't been killed by the princess. So focus up. The world is depending on you. The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a rough stone staircase, its walls pressing at your sides and tightening as you descend. The air seeping from below is heavy and oppressive, with an almost sulphuric odor to it. If the princess lives here, slaying her would probably be doing her a favor. Her fierce voice carries up the stairs.
Is that another challenger? Finally. It's been ages since I've had a good fight.
This isn't what she sounded like last time. Her voice is a little deeper, almost threatening.
Good. Sounds like my kind of princess.
As much as I appreciate the enthusiasm, just make sure you don't let your bloodlust get to your head. You need to stay focused and keep your wits about you. Remember, you're here to slay the princess, not to have a good fight. As you descend the final step, the form of the princess comes into view. A large shackle leading from her wrist to the basement wall. Looks like she could rip those chains out of the wall without a second thought.
Oh, it's you again. I'd been hoping you'd find your way back here. Good to see that death doesn't stick for either of us. And you brought your little knife, too. Yes. I'm going to have fun breaking you into little pieces.
Okay, fine. Let's say for a moment I believe you. For all we know, whatever happened to you last time was just a fluke, and beyond that, do you know who doesn't remember anything that happened last time? Me. I don't remember what happened last time. Are you okay? Of course I'm not okay. As far as we're all concerned, the fate of my world is still very much on the line. Not all of us have the luxury of jumping over to a parallel universe the second we die.
What is there to unpack? I was dead and now I'm not, and the same goes for you. There. Unpacking done. Don't you get it? We've been given free rein to wail on each other. Forever.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Oh, I remember you all right. Best 3 minutes of my life. So, why don't we do it again?
See? She wants to fight us again. There's no reason for us to stand around talking.
You look exactly the same.
Finally ready to complete your destined task, you launch off the wet stone floor of the basement and catapult yourself headlong towards the princess. Here we go. Let's make this count.
Oh, we'll make it count, all right.
As you bridge the gap, your blade slashes across the princess's chest, splitting skin and drawing a jagged line of bright red blood. She's unfazed by your onslaught. Her expression barely changes as her fist collides with your ribs, cracking them like twigs and driving you right back down to the basement floor. You can hear her chains snap as you struggle to recover from the impact. She almost looks disappointed in us. Why is she disappointed in us?
Oh, you don't actually get it, do you? That knife may be sharp, but you clearly don't want to kill me. It's not fun if you hesitate. It's not fun if you try to trick me and make me bleed out. It's only fun if you go straight for the heart. You need to put everything you have into seeing me dead. Or what's the point? So don't be afraid. Don't hesitate. Kill me.
Don't let her get in your head. Reincarnation or not, this world needs you to win. She's huge, but that probably means she's slower than us. Take it slow, think it through, and don't panic. Bleeding her out is our best course of action. Don't listen to them. She understands something that they don't. The only way to win, the only way out of this is through her. You push yourself off the ground and attack the princess, trying to bait an opening. Do your best to outplay her, slashing out and leaving red cuts in the tattered remains of her white dress. But you have little room to maneuver. For every glancing blow you manage to land, she slams you against the wall in retaliation, each impact threatening to be the last. This weak little dance isn't working. Just toughen up and overpower her. She's throwing us around like a ragdoll. I think overpowering her is a little out of the question.
Did you think you could stop me with a few cuts? All this dancing around is doing nothing but annoying me. I own this place, and I own you.
The princess's arm shoots forward, her palm wrapping around your head, fingers gripping your skull.
How disappointing.
She squeezes, the pressure unbearable as her fingers dig into your scalp. The last thing you hear is the unsettling crack of your skull and the sickening churn of what was your grey matter. Everything goes dark, and you die. You're on a path in the wood. If you weren't so damned afraid of what she'd do to you, we wouldn't have died back there. Fear is good. Fear keeps us alive. We died because you didn't have enough of it. So what? You'd have us cower in a corner? No, but that place suits her better than it suits us. She's big. We can't hope to find holes and openings down there. We need more room if we're going to survive. Are you suggesting luring her into the woods? Do you have any idea how dangerous that would be? If you lose sight of her, if she manages to slip away, that's it. Game over for everyone, yourself included. Are you not challenging us on all the looping? Have you known about it the whole time? Are you the same one we've been talking to since the beginning? Sorry to disappoint what I'm sure must feel like a grand revelation, but that's not what's going on here. We've never met. Then what is going on? What's going on is that you'd only be saying the things you've been saying if you'd already been here, and if you'd already seen things you weren't supposed to have seen. doesn't matter. We could go in circles forever. I don't like staying still for too long. Let's get to the cabin, see this through. It's good to know that at least one of you is still capable of reason. We may have the same destination, but we're not the same. You are still an other, and I don't trust you. Well, fortunately, you have an entire trip through the woods to reconsider that.
There's nothing to reconsider. We're all for violence here.
Are we? I haven't signed off on anything yet. Violence is the answer here, but the method is equally important to the act. You can't let her leave the cabin. It's like I said, all just circles. Instinct tells me we need space, and I trust instinct. Nothing else to say. Not for me. It isn't long before you find yourself at the end of the path, staring up the hill at the cabin. I hope you've given serious thought to your predicament.
No last advice for us? No words of warning?
From what I gather, you've heard it all before. There's no use screaming into the wind.
I don't know. Screaming sounds pretty good right about now. I could use a little catharsis.
Catharsis is for when we're finished. For now, we need to hold it out in front of us, something to chase. The interior of the cabin is suffocatingly tight, more of a glorified tunnel than a building. Its stone walls squeeze against your sides, leaving you no choice but to press forward. The only furniture of note is an iron altar jutting out from the wall, a pristine blade perched on its edge. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you're going to do this right. See? We have even less space than before. We need space or she'll kill us. And the only space is out there.
Take it.
We can try to survive without our steel claw, but you've marked us as easy prey. You step forward and approach the door to the basement, hesitating before you open it, as if you don't see it. You do see it, right?
All we see is a damned mirror.
This really is just like last time. It smells of nothing, yet it's still there. You reach forward and drag your hand across the door leading to the basement. As if on command, it slowly slides open, scraping against the floor as it reveals the dim path ahead.
Why am I not surprised? It was in our way, and now it's not. That's all that matters.
Before you is what may as well be a sheer cliff face. There are enough footholds that you'll be able to clamber your way to the bottom, but it will require careful effort. The air hissing up from below is warm and wet, like the breath of an enemy locked in close quarters.
If the princess lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor.
Her voice, bold and fierce and impatient, echoes from the chamber below.
Do you have more fight in you than last time? That was such a disappointing show. I know you can do better than that.
Goda, rile her up. If she's angry, she'll make mistakes.
That wouldn't be fun. I don't want to be a monster chasing you down. I want to face you head on. I want an equal. It's so much better that way.
We need to get closer. She needs to see us to give chase. You've nowhere to go but down. You start the difficult journey, gripping the stone, lowering yourself foot by grueling foot. But soon, there is solid ground beneath you. Remember, every crack and crevice will need to be faster than her. You turn to face what lies at the end of the narrow tunnel. The princess, imposing and tightly muscled, grins back at you from the darkness. Her face droops.
There you are. But this time you don't even have that little knife. Do you think this is a joke? Do you need me to break those fragile bones again to remind you how serious this is?
She's bubbling, hot with rage. We can't get close if we want to live. But we'll be able to draw her out of here. She's hungry for us.
I know I said this earlier, but I really have to stress how thin of a razor's edge you're on right now. We know.
The only way out is through the eye of the needle.
And we're going to win.
We'll need the steel claw. Grab it as we leave.
Bloody desire in her eyes, the princess rushes forward, ignoring her chains as they bend and snap.
Run.
Without hesitation, you turn back the way you came and scramble up the ledge towards the tunnel entrance. As you near the top, hands desperately clawing at jagged stone, you glance back. The princess is right on your heels. She doesn't bother to scale the wall as you do, instead digging deep into the rock of the cliff face with her fingertips in her rabid pursuit.
Anywhere you go, I will follow!
Good.
You reach the ledge and hoist yourself up into the tunnel, the cabin door finally in sight, at once within your grasp and infinitely distant.
What is all of this for? What's the point? You and I are always going to end in violence, so why bother to run? I know what I am. Why can't you be the same?
Steel claw, now.
Without missing a step, you grab the blade from the altar.
So you do want to fight me? Good.
We're almost there.
Don't think about almost. We're there when we're there.
And we'll take the fight with us. Your skin hums tight with adrenaline as you burst through the cabin door and roll onto the grass. You glance back at the cabin as the princess, singular in her desire to destroy you, explodes through the doorway. You are walking a dangerous path. If you waver once, it's all over. So get it right.
There's nothing left to slow me down. Do you think this is better for you? Do you think this space gives you an edge? Then show me! Show me that you've been worth all the room you've taken up in my head!
Do it. Be swift, strike true, be where she's not. Let your body move you.
You leap from the grass and bound towards the princess, keeping low.
Charging me head on? Brave and foolish.
Her body braces for impact, anticipating the clash.
That's where you're both wrong. Left, now.
As the princess strikes, your body swerves to the left. She overextends, stumbling as her balance shifts unexpectedly.
Strike.
Before you can finish the thought, you lash out, the blade slicing through her leg. She turns to swing again.
Right. You move out of the way, but this time it's not quite as clean. You can feel a bruise already blooming where her elbow crashed into flesh. It's nothing. A scratch. Yes, it could be worse. And you managed to gift her another cut in return. I'll be damned. We're actually going to pull this off, aren't we? You just might, but don't let it get to your head. Not until it's over.
Yes, finally! This is the hole I felt in my heart. This is what I've needed. This is what I've been missing. This is how it always needed to end. Both of us giving it our all, beating and bleeding each other to death.
The two of you engage in a devastating flurry of blows, each of you wounding the other again and again. She's stronger, but you're faster, and the deeper the both of you fall into your lethal dance, the more your edge shines over hers. She's slowing down, blood pouring from wounds, splattering at her feet, leaving her weak and unsteady. More! Keep going, we can't stop now! You spy an opening. She's waiting for you. She lets you sink the blade deep, trapping you in place long enough to wrap you in her impenetrable arms. You're slammed to the ground. Nothing. These blows are nothing to us. But her gambit wasn't enough to close the gap. It wasn't enough to kill you. She stares you down, coughing up a splash of blood as she gasps for breath.
You've outplayed me, haven't you? Something feels wrong. Something.
And? Then what happens? She's gone. Where did she go? Should we try and find her? And there's that mirror again. Why is it here? Why now? There's something dreadful about it. I don't think you should. That thing reeks of death. Screw the mirror. We just need to find the princess. You're right. She's gone. It's just us and that awful thing. It's like it's mocking us. Let's just stay still. It is. Does that mean the world ended? It hasn't ended. We're still here. The world didn't end. We're still here. Come on. We just need to keep going. I'm begging you, don't do this. It's different now. It feels, I don't know, final.
Something finds me in the long quiet and brings me the gift of a fragile vessel. She is part of me, and part of me is her. You speak in circles. Does it matter where one thing begins and another ends? I am solitary lights in an empty city. What are you? I think that you are like me. We are oceans, reduced to shallow creeks. Yes, nerves and fibers to feel the worlds beyond, perspectives to make my own. This one yearns to grow and struggle. Even now I feel a will pushing against mine, not realizing that we are one. She will make for a fierce heart. Do not mourn her. We will provide her with the growth she fought for. I have only just now stirred to consciousness. I could not have trapped you here, and I too yearn to be free. How can the world have ended if we are talking? Nothing, as we are, but I know that there are worlds beyond us, and that we are meant to reach them. There is no exit, but this vessel is a creature of perception. She can make you forget, if only you believe her to be able to. Bring me more perspectives, so that I may be whole, and perhaps then we will know our freedom. You ask of things that cannot be done. To destroy is merely to reshape, to remold. How can I know? I am flickers in something sprawling and unilluminated. More than you have found, but less than there are to find. I am infinite. The rest will find their own way home. I have not lived. I am not afraid to die. Everything, until we meet again. Then we will be here forever, as we are now, unfinished, dry, hollow. She asks that I tell you to remember her. You won't.
Oh. Hey, J4K.
You're on a path
Playing
in the woods,
a new game that just
and
dropped
at the end of that
yesterday.
path is a cabin.
That's pretty
And
much
in the
it.
basement of that cabin
That
is a
ending was quite
princess. You're
meta.
here to slay her.
So, unlike the
If
other
you
Groundhog
don't,
Days, it
It
seems
will
like
be the end
this
of
is
the
an
world.
actual reset. Back to chapter 1. Let's see. Yes, okay. So, all of my actions are as they were. Alright. That makes sense. I guess I'll continue. Very interesting. Okay, so there are bound to be different paths, and now our goal is to get each path and make whatever that was at the end whole. I assume it's very interesting, you know. I've never seen a game that has a bunch of different paths that actually tries to get you to go through all of those paths and makes it a part of the story rather than just alternate story paths. So to get the actual complete experience, I need to explore all the paths. It's very interesting.
Does it? Are you a monarchist? Is slaying a princess that much worse than slaying a fisherman or a miller or a seamstress? If anything, slaying a princess is much better than slaying a seamstress. Seamstresses contribute something of value to society.
Pippin, it's not necessarily like Detroit. In Detroit, there were different paths, but there was not particularly anything that connected them, you know? Like, how can I say this? Obviously, they want you to do different paths, right? They want you to replay the game and do different paths, but they do not connect. It seems as if I go for different paths and I replay this game for different paths, then it will add on to the story and actually contribute to it, rather than just being an alternate route. So I guess that would be the main difference. And I actually find that quite interesting, making that the point of the game rather than just another aspect of it.
Unfortunately, you're the only one who can pull this off. I don't make the rules. I wish I did, but I don't. Of course I haven't. Why would I even consider that? Nobody wants the world to end. I mean, maybe some people do, nihilists, or very, very evil people, but surely you're not one of those, right? Yes, but you'll have to slay her before you get it. It's a secret, but I think you'll like it. It's a special reward, just for you. And whatever you think it might be, I can promise you it's going to be even better than your wildest imagination. Don't mention it. It's all part of the job. You make your way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the princess within. We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save princesses, not slay them. Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the floor and walls are painted in a fine layer of dust. The only furniture of note is a plain wooden table. Perched on that table is a pristine blade. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right. The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an unseen light in the room below. This is an oppressive place. The air feels heavy and damp, a hint of rot filtering from the ancient wood. If the princess really lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. Her voice softly carries up the stairs.
Hello? Is someone there?
It's hypnotizing. It's the kind of voice you only have to hear once to remember it for the rest of your life. Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation. You're playing a dangerous game by coming here unarmed. How many times do I have to tell you how dangerous letting her out of here would be before it finally sinks in?
Wait, really? You're here to rescue me? I was starting to think I'd be stuck down here forever. Come downstairs. I want to see the face of my rescuer.
You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement. She's beautiful. How could someone like this be a threat to anyone? I am begging you to stay focused. There's a lot riding on you here.
Hi. I can't believe you're here. I've been waiting for something like this to happen forever. I hope you brought something to deal with these chains.
Don't do it. If she gets out of those chains, we're all one step closer to the end. You're only making this more difficult.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're making a huge mistake. No, you're doing the right thing. You walk up to the chains binding the princess to the wall and give them a tug. They're large and heavy, far too solid for you to even imagine trying to break them apart.
I'm guessing you don't have the key?
Maybe it's somewhere upstairs. Doubtful. Whoever locked the princess away down here intended for her to never see the light of day. They wouldn't have just left the key to her chains somewhere in the cabinet.
Okay. I'll be here. Good luck.
You attempt to make your way out of the basement, but the door at the top of the stairs slams shut. You hear the click of a lock sliding into place. Is someone else here? You try the door, but it's locked from the outside. Your shouts and pleas are met with silence. You're here to slay the princess, and you won't leave until the task is done. You make your way to the bottom of the stairs. This would have been so much easier if you'd just taken the blade like you were supposed to. Easier for whom? Easier for everyone. Look at the mess you're in.
I heard the door slam. They locked you down here too, didn't they?
There's a slight panic rising in the princess's voice.
If I could just get out of these chains, I know we could force our way out of here together.
She barely hesitates before raising her arm to her mouth, her teeth tearing through her limb with the determination of a trapped wolf. As she rips her flesh from
yes,
her bone,
Goons. New
the
indie
sound
game.
comes from behind you, the clang of bouncing
This is
magic.
pretty graphic.
It's the blade from upstairs. You're not sure how it made its way down here, but if there's a time to strike, it's now. Or we could use it to free her. You won't like what happens if you do that. Fine. Against your better judgment, you place the blade against the ragged, self-inflicted wound on the princess's arm,
just above the unyielding chain binding her to this place. You cut into her flesh. The blade is sharp, and it takes little effort to crack through the bone of her arm. Her limb falls to the ground, and the heavy chains follow suit. She didn't so much as utter a sound through the whole ordeal. No, she didn't. She smiles softly as her gaze meets yours, blood from her wounded arm dripping rhythmically to the ground. How is she still smiling after everything? It's like she isn't even bothered by what just happened.
Thank you. Now let's get out of here.
No, we won't have any of that. The stakes are too high. You can't just let her escape into the world. No, I can't just let her escape into the world. As the princess approaches the bottom stair, your body steps forward and raises the blade. Wait, this isn't fair. You can't just do that. Watch me.
What are you doing?
Well, there is a warn her option. So, despite that being a lot of different Slay the Princesses, I think I'll click on the warn her. We're already this far deep.
Stop that.
Something's come over you, hasn't it? You know you don't have to do this, right?
Your body lunges forward, the blade held low, ready to sink into her heart. But the princess dodges, stumbling back against the wall before the blade has a chance to connect. Stop it! Stop trying to resist me. I'm trying to get you out of here alive.
Alright then.
The blade! Move the blade! As your body remains frozen in stubborn resistance, the princess takes a cautious step forward.
We both know this isn't you.
She nervously reaches towards you and takes the blade from your infuriatingly rigid hands. What are you doing?
I'm sorry. I'll try to be quick.
She plunges it into your chest, tearing through flesh and sinew. It is agony. But you aren't dead yet.
Oh no! I'm so sorry.
Stay strong. We can tough it out until it's done. For her sake. For her sake? Don't you start pretending that dying a painful death is some sort of heroic gesture. The two of you have literally doomed everyone. Whatever. She sinks the blade into your chest again and again and again, and you feel every inch of burning pain that slices its way into your body.
I'm sorry.
She doesn't know how to use a knife, does she? Apparently not, though it doesn't matter how sloppy her knife work is, does it? A stab wound is still a stab wound, and it won't be long before you bleed out.
I'm so sorry.
With one last thrust of the knife, your legs give out beneath you. You collapse to the floor, your blood pooling around you, your limbs unresponsive. The princess stares down at your ruined chest as tears carve rivulets of pink down her blood-spattered cheeks. It can't just end like this, right? Oh, that's rich coming from you. As much as I'd prefer for things to have gone differently, I can't deny the reality of what's happened. The two of you made your choice. It's over. Everything goes dark, and you die.
Okay. Interesting.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Huh. Alright, so in that path, she was relatively harmless. I say relatively because, you know, she didn't want to hurt me, but due to circumstance, she kind of had to. So, that makes sense. She wasn't particularly proficient with the knife either. So, like the characters, I guess her memory does not transfer between these runs, only between the chapters within each run, so that's quite interesting.
My tricks? What on earth are you talking about? We just met for the first time. If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way.
Yes, he didn't approve of us last time, did he? If we're going to save our beloved, we'll have to be sneaky about it.
Our beloved? Yes, you'll have to be very sneaky about your intentions if you're going to try and save the princess.
Ah, so all of the cards are on the table. Then you should know that we and the princess are in love, and the four of us will be foiling any and all assassination attempts you've got in the works.
We'll see about that. Whatever you do, just be sure to ignore him specifically. It sounds like he's the sort who'd sacrifice the whole world for a peck on the cheek.
What can I say? A world without love is a world that isn't worth saving.
A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says.
We already told you we're not playing along with your little game. It's your lies that can't be trusted. Her beauty is the only thing in the world we can believe in.
I think we've already been over this. I'm pretty sure he just likes the sound of his own voice.
I do, but I also speak from the heart. My passions are too great to be stifled. They must be expressed.
Sure, yeah, your passions are strong and all, but not everyone needs to hear them. Some things are better kept quiet. Don't pay their bickering any mind. Focus on the task ahead. The interior of the cabin is clean and elegant, its stone walls draped in fine-threaded tapestries, a prison befitting a royal prisoner. The only furniture of note is an ornate wooden table with a pristine blade perched on its edge. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right. Walk up to the wall next to the basement door. It's a wall. There isn't much to see here.
What are you talking about? This isn't a wall. It's a mirror. Or at least it'll be a mirror once we wipe off that layer of grime.
You reach forward and rub your hand against the cabin wall. I hope you know how ridiculous you look right now. But there was a mirror a second ago.
Now it's gone. Pity. We could have a feather out of place, and now we'll never know. We can't gallantly sweep her off her feet if we have a feather out of place.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing an intricate stairwell. Gold-trimmed carpet glimmers in the light of the torches positioned along the walls. The basement almost seems welcoming in the dim firelight. But it's still a stone basement.
If the princess lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor.
A soft voice carries up the stairs.
Hello? Is someone there?
Her voice, it's somehow even more beautiful than last time. I can hear wedding bells already. I've held my tongue till now, but you're taking this a little too far. We barely even know the princess. We can still do right by her without all this over-the-top fawning.
Yes, for everyone's sake, you're not in love. Just remember that her charms are all part of the manipulation. You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far.
Okay. Sorry, I just changed to windowed mode. Looks like that screwed it up on my thing. I just wanted to say it's quite funny how she's
My
now like
love, we're here to
an
rescue
anime
you
character.
from your unjust and foul imprisonment.
You know she can't hear you, right?
She may not be able to hear my words,
Go ahead,
but
man.
surely she can hear my spirit.
wanted to fix this. Doesn't look like it has windowed full screen, which is unfortunate. But, oh well. Full screen it is. Okay.
Oh, your spirit's plenty loud, all right.
It's you, my dashing hero. I was so worried you wouldn't come back.
Did you hear that? She said we're dashing.
And she called us a hero. Flattery really goes a long way with the two of you, doesn't it? Waiting for you to come back. I didn't want to believe your ravings back in the woods, but this is next to incontrovertible evidence. You've been here before.
That's right, villain, and you killed us. Well, she killed us. Only because he made us try and kill her. It was self-defense. Our beloved's hands remain unstained by cruelty.
And you've died before. So an entire world has been damned to oblivion. I'd really hoped I'd be the first, but what's done is done. What matters is you have a chance to do it right this time. We damned a whole world. But everything reset. Nothing resets. You're just somewhere else. And you can't keep hopping between worlds forever. Especially not without leaving a trail of incomprehensible devastation behind you. This is horrible.
Horrible for you, maybe, but we've been given another opportunity to sweep her off her feet and treat her like the lady she is.
Now, hold on. If she actually ended a world, are you sure we want to do this? Are you sure we want to rescue her?
We never saw a world end, and now I'm even more certain that we must chase our heroic and romantic destiny than I've ever been. I shan't let anyone convince us otherwise.
That's right,
Are
Pippin.
you listening to him? He's lost it. Don't let him distract you. Just do your
Yeah,
job.
the smitten guy. Okay, he's a little smitten. Hence the name. But in general, she hasn't seemed to do anything this time. Killed me last time and it hurt a lot. Why did you do that? We know why she did that. I didn't bring a knife. Do I have to cut you out again? What happened after I died? I have to ask, why did you end the world after you killed me back there? I'm sorry about what happened last time. The narrator who sent me here to kill you took over my body. It was extremely unfair. I mean, might as well tell her.
Another version of me was pushed to such drastic action. It was for good reason.
That's okay. You were just doing your best, and that's all that matters.
Alright, well, she's understanding.
She took that in stride. To a surprising extent. An almost unsettling extent, actually.
That's because she's perfect.
Do you think she has someone like him telling her what to do? She doesn't. There's no one else like me.
I think he's right, because I like it better if she doesn't have some horrid little voice like him, always trying to drive her to violence.
Okay, I'm not gonna say this. Obviously, I know why she killed me. I didn't bring a knife. What happened after I died? Yeah, you tell me.
You died, and now we're talking.
So it reset after I died? But before we started talking, did the world end? Did you end the world? Yeah.
I don't know. Was I supposed to have ended the world? Would that have made you happy?
Not necessarily.
Isn't that just like our darling princess? She wants to make us happy. My heart melts further with every word that passes through her beautiful
Alright, relax,
lips.
my guy.
Are you listening to her? That's a confession.
Not necessarily. She doesn't even remember doing it, so it's not really a confession, dum-dum. But the fact that she even said, would that make you happy, means that she probably could. Honestly, the world sucks. People are a plague, and I hope you brought a slow and painful ruin to them all. Jeez. I have no feelings one way or the other about the world ending. No, I don't want to. Of course not.
Then I didn't end the world.
Okay, that's not exactly how you
She
should have
didn't
answered
confess
that.
anything. She is innocence itself.
I'm not so sure.
Okay. Well, gone this far. She didn't necessarily do anything to hurt me before, so...
Rescue her? What are you talking about? Did you forget that she's a world-ending monstrosity? And even if you wanted to unleash her onto the world, despite the complete moral disaster that would be, you'd have to get her out of those chains. Good luck with that. Don't you see how dainty her hands are? We'll be able to slip her out with ease.
Of course.
No, she's a prisoner here. You can't just slip her hand through the chains. If her hand could just slip out of the chains, why hasn't she done it already?
Because she's waiting for her hero, of course.
Because we've yet to present her
Of
with
course.
her freedom.
I'm not sure I follow.
Would you rather believe me, a passionate heart guided by love and my own good nature? Or would you rather believe the devil on your shoulder who tells you what you can and cannot do?
Very true.
I think I'd rather believe in facts.
That too.
Ah, so you're one of those empiricists.
One of us has to be.
Then let me show you a brand new truth. Narrator, we courageously step forward and free our beloved from her bindings.
Okay.
No, I can't let you do that. If you take another step towards the princess, I'll... You what? Take over our body and force us to try and kill her? I would if you had a weapon. Not on my watch, villain. My passions contain titanic depths, and if you try anything that might harm our dearest, I will end our life without a second thought.
Damn,
You
he's committed.
wouldn't.
I would. I'd listen to him if I were you. He has a lot of strong feelings, and doesn't the world end if we don't stop her? Approach the princess and
Completely
gingerly
just
slide her hand
slides
through her
off.
fingers. That shouldn't have worked. I'll be damned. We're doomed.
I can't believe it. But I guess I have to.
I told you, there's no life more worth living than that of a true believer.
I'm free, and you're not trying to kill me this time. Thank you. Thank you
And you're
so
not trying to
much.
kill me this time. Of course not.
The princess jumps up and smothers you in a joyful embrace. Ugh. If only you had a weapon, one slip of the wrist and your pristine blade would be buried in her back, and everyone out there would be saved.
No weapon.
Luckily for Mr. Romance, we don't have a weapon.
Who needs a weapon when we have the power of love on our side?
Very true. Very true.
What do we do now?
Guess we get out of here. What do you want to do? That's true, yeah. She probably is like... I don't know. So idealized that she doesn't even have a will of her own. We leave, and then we have our whole lives to figure out what we want to. I want to see. What do you
Let
want
me
to do?
guess.
She's probably
End the world?
whatever you want to do.
Spoken with the rank cynicism of someone who has never felt love in his heart.
I don't actually know. Nobody's ever asked me what I wanted before.
What do you want to do?
She doesn't even know what she wants. You may have had her all wrong. What if this whole thing is just a misunderstanding? What if she doesn't want to end the world? You're so gullible. Is the only thing you've ever doubted the actual truth?
Well, he did say
I think I
he
want
likes
to
the
leave.
facts.
And I think...
The princess closes her eyes in deep reflection. And then she shrugs.
I don't know. What do you want to do?
No, you figure out what you want to do right now. I want you to tell me what you want. Yes, that is exactly. There must be something you want. Do you want to end the world? I just want to leave. We can figure out the rest later. If you want to leave, then let's leave. I want you to tell me what
I
you want.
just want to make you happy.
No. You tell me what you want to know.
She can't just want to make
yeah,
us
no.
happy.
This-
It makes sense to me. That's all I want for her, so of course she'd want the same for us.
That makes sense, despite how brain dead he is, the smitten guy. But that does make sense. There must be something you want. But what would make you happy? Pushing more, she might break. You have to want something more than just making me happy. But you need your own thing. You just met me. You can't base your entire happiness around me. I want you to make me unhappy? What? No. Do you want to end the world? I just want to leave. We can figure out the rest later. If you want to leave, then let's leave. This isn't right. Let's just get out of here. Yeah, okay. We can leave the philosophical debates for after we
That
get out.
sounds perfect.
The princess takes your hand, the
And
last
she did say she wanted to
hopes
leave,
of the
so-
entire world slipping
leave.
through your fingers as they intertwine with hers.
We
Lovely
have
narrative.
each other. We don't need the world for our happy ending.
I like to think that you do, actually. Look, I have my doubts, but the choice has been made and this is happening. You don't have to mope about it.
I will mope about it, because moping is the only recourse you love-blind fools have left me with.
You and the princess walk up the stairs, hand in hand. Ugh, look at the way she's smiling at you. She doesn't have to be so happy about this. And what happens after we walk up the stairs? Let's see. Oh, isn't that interesting? The door slams in your face with a lock.
The power of love will let us
That's a
break through.
familiar move.
Right?
Did I do that last time? Then you should know that you won't be able to leave.
Oh no! Did someone lock us in here? That's not fair. We're supposed to leave now.
She's right, it isn't fair, but the unfairnesses of the world are no match for the strength of true love.
Enough with this true love nonsense. You just met her.
Of course you wouldn't understand. Our passions run deeper than anything you have ever known.
Are you listening to this? You don't have to go along with the every whim of that delusional voice.
I'm not going through with every whim he has.
I'm just along for the ride at this point.
But quite a few of them, though. I am. Do you think you can open it? I think we can open it if we stay together. I think I've got this. Open the door by yourself. Now, we can do it together.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
Like a pair of teenagers in love, you and the princess place your hands on the door. Together. Blech.
And
The lock clicks, and the door creaks
open, are you kidding me? I told you our love was insurmountable.
Hey, listen, bro. And if it's working, it's working, you know?
You and the princess make your way upstairs, and... The blade, that's right. There's still a chance for you to do the right thing. Take the blade from the table and slay her before it's too
Why
late.
would I do that? Take the blade and slay the princess. You're not doing that.
You're enjoying this, aren't you? You're taking every opportunity you can to draw out the end of the world and make me suffer. I hate you.
the way out. We're going to leave together, just like you wanted.
Well,
Yes, I suppose
you said
are
that you
going to
wanted
do
it,
that,
but-
aren't you? You cross the room, opening the door to the cabin. And then you step outside. A happy ending at last.
We did it. What should we do now?
Where did everything go?
well, I guess the world ended.
Where did he go? Oh, is he gone? I hadn't noticed. I was too busy staring deep into our beloved's eye.
Of course he was.
I'm cold. Is being happy supposed to be so cold?
She's cold. Quick, our feathers. Pluck them all and weave her a coat worthy of a princess. She's gone. Where did she go? Should we try and find her? And is that a mirror? Why is it here? Why now?
Of course you're scared. This is the end for you. It's not the end for me. It'll be okay. Just trust me. We've been here before. And you always get scared. First the mirror.
What
Might
is
as
that
well
supposed to
reassure
mean? Whatever awful thing I felt before, it feels so much worse now. Do it then. End us all before I die of a broken heart.
Alright, so she's here once again.
Flickering lights in empty cityscapes become pockets of vitality and movement. I am more than I was before. Whenever you are ready, I will wipe your slate clean once again. Is a child the same as an infant? I am an unbroken pattern, but every vessel gives fresh perspectives and carves new avenues of expression. I am different, but I am the same. Eyes close in reflection. Perspectives meld together, and the breadth of my experience stretches to new corners. There are contradictions, conflicts in my nature, and there are familiarities that bind everything together. It feels correct. This is what I need to be. This is the only path forward. Why wouldn't I be kind to you? You are the only thing I know that isn't me. This one is soft and delicate. You molded her to love you, and she'll make for a gentle heart. Do not mourn her.
Very key
She
wording.
has served her purpose.
You molded her. I think that's how this works. I mold her into whatever my perception of her may be. When I fought her, she wanted to fight. And she became more antagonistic. And then when you show her kindness, she shows you kindness back. But that doesn't explain why she became so amicable, so completely indifferent to anything regarding herself. She didn't even have a personality, so to speak, beyond wanting me to be happy. So, attack the entity. Not really necessary. I go back. It's after. I'm assuming that the options that I had before are closed off, which is what this means. But I didn't know that they were closed off, so I feel like this shouldn't be here.
Those paths lead to worlds you've already seen, and to perspectives I have already made my own. They are useless to us now, inaccessible. The only paths of value are those that are yet untread.
I want to do this path again, and I want to press further on her that indifference that she had. Because before I could hear the music changing as I kept pressing her about her complete indifference to everything and why she didn't really have any wants of her own. But I didn't really push it because I kind of wanted to see the alternate route, but now I want to push it. Yeah, Pippin, it seems like I cannot go back now, only forward. Okay. What do you want me to bring you next time? I'm assuming she's just going to say whatever you want, which makes sense.
Gifts aren't what someone tells you to bring them.
Exactly.
My joy is in seeing what you choose. There are no wrong answers, and every perspective illuminates my shadows and shares new secrets.
You don't have any preferences on how you'd like to change your grow? No. She doesn't.
My preference is for you to show me what you would like me to see. I cannot know the ways I wish to grow, for I have yet to feel them. It is you who guides me down the thin trail of perspective and memory.
Okay, when this is all done, do you know what you want to do?
With every gift you bring me, I excavate the alleys of what I am meant to be, and every exploration yields new and complicated truths. What I will be is different than what I am, and what I am is different from what I was. I cannot tell you what desires I will hold when I have changed.
That's fair.
But in this moment, all I want is to know myself and to know you.
Okay. It's funny, it's like the hands are the entity, and she is the vessel. She speaks by having the hands move her mouth, as if she isn't actually her yet. It's kind of hard to explain what I'm thinking, but I just thought that was a very cool visual way of showing that. The hand moving the mouth, rather than her just speaking from the mouth itself. I don't want to hurt you, but the more times I go back, the worse I fear things will be. Yeah?
The vessels are shaped by memories of you, but their impulses are drawn to the edge of the long quiet. To them, you are a gate to something more, and any hurt you've caused them is understood as a fair price for freedom. But they are only thoughts and perspectives. They are not me. The wounds they've suffered carve texture around my heart. Without them, I would be as I was before. I would be alone and without sensation. I could not feel the joy of having you by my side, for I would not know your absence.
Okay. Once you're finished, I'm going to kill you, okay? But why? You don't necessarily have to. Okay, I'm ready to go
I
back.
will long for your return, but it will give me time to reflect on what I am. We will meet again.
Okay. I think this is a good part to end it on.
You're on a path
So-
in the woods.
Let me go ahead and save. Empty slot. There we go. It's been a pleasure streaming this game. Hope some people get to watch the VOD. I found it to be quite enjoyable. Very interesting. It's definitely a lot longer than I thought it would be. I'm a bit sick, so forgive me. Anyway, to whoever's watching, appreciate it. Thanks a lot. The rest of you, have a good evening. I'm gonna go stuff my face now with dinner. Goodbye, guys.